Today is Wednesday, February 17th, 2016. It's 10:06. I call the meeting of the Monongalia County Commission together. Let the record reflect that all three commissioners are present. Would anyone please rise for a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag? Thank you. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Renetta.
Good morning. We have 15 exoneration listings this morning for $7,286.28. Fiduciary orders for February 17, 2016. Statement of services for Cynthia Van Stafford for the James McCartney Estate and Betty Rose Pruitt Estate. General County vouchers, $229,873.30. 911 cash, $12,198.70. Mason-Dixon Park, $551.20. Morgantown Industrial TIF, $1,035.18. Purchasing card vouchers, General County, $6683.36, and home confinement, $1543.20. Voucher total, $251,884.94. We have this budget revision request for the Sheriff's Department, moving funds from their 701-103 line item to 701-105 to cover any overages for $250. As far as I know, we have no introduction of new employees or boards and authority vacancies. There are two other fiduciary matters that you guys need to address separately.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay, the first one I have in front of me here, it's just a one-page recommendation from the fiduciary commissioner, Cynthia Stafford. It's the estate of Ben Livingston. The long and short of it, his daughter, Susan Livingston, is brought up the issue that his widow, Patricia Kennedy Livingston, or was listed as her alleged widow, that they were actually divorced in Denmark some years ago, and she has obtained the divorce decree from Denmark. Given that fact, it's not within the jurisdiction of the fiduciary commissioner or the jurisdiction of this county commission to determine the validity of this foreign court's personal jurisdiction over Patricia Kennedy Livingston, or the force and effect of the divorce decree obtained in Denmark, but rather it's in the jurisdiction of the Circuit Court of Monongalia County. And therefore, she is asking us to make that finding and direct this estate to remain open until which time that the Circuit Court of Monongalia County can make a determination as to the validity of the allegations. I need a motion to that effect. Keep the estate open,
Okay.
and until which time that they can seek relief from the Circuit Court on these issues.
I so move that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you. Now, what's the other issue?
The other issue was the Edgar Allan Haynes estate. There's been some objections to it. It's the estate from a few weeks.
March 2nd.
A few weeks ago where the attorneys didn't show.
Right.
Okay. They're wanting a hearing before you all on March the 2nd. So we just need to set a time. for
Just a
that.
motion to set the hearing on that for March 2nd.
We could do 10:10. And from what I understand, they're going to need some time.
They're gonna need some time?
It's going to be a long one, from what I gather. So unless they work something out ahead of time.
But do we want it at the beginning or we want it towards the end?
I
It's up
think
to
you're
you.
right. I'd rather have it, if it's
Have it
going to
at
be
the
long,
end?
I'd rather have it at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Because, so we can get our other business done, if that's okay. Then I would move that we have that meeting on March 2nd, you said?
Yes.
At the end, towards the end of the
So
meeting, after all
10
businesses.
10:45 and
Yeah.
then,
No,
no?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it that late. I would, because we could always, if we're ready to go, we could always move the other stuff down. I'd have it like 10:20 or 10:25, something like that.
Okay, so move
Okay.
10:25.
Second.
Can part of the motion,
Go ahead, discussion.
is there any way, and I don't know if this is legal, I have difficulty when everyone comes in without any background information. You know how courts at least get some privy of what's coming up? Couldn't we have some general information? Because I think it's very difficult to sit there at one time. I don't know if we're allowed to.
Well,
It'd be nice to.
Well, all the objections as submitted should be copied and given to each one of us
I
before.
have a packet.
Okay, then we'll do that. Okay, then we'd have the objections. At least we'd understand. Okay, thank you.
Okay, March the 2nd at 10:25.
I
Yes.
have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay. Board of Authority. Comments from the public. Do you have anyone from the public wants to speak at this time? Going once, gone twice. Comments from the public is completed. Colleen Coon.
Hi,
Hey, morning.
how are you?
Good.
I have two. I have the ESG grant in the amount of $22,430.53. And I also have the Day Report Center grant in the amount of $15,723.11.
Move for reimbursement, allow the president to sign.
Second.
A motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Give me a blue pen. I didn't sign that in a blue pen. I had one up here, but someone took it.
Just keep it.
I'll keep this one.
Someone keeps stealing it
I
purposely.
know. There we go. Thank you, Coleman. Okay, Citizens for Parks and Trails, presentation of recreation levy.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. If you want to sit there, that way you don't have to stand, if you don't,
Oh, okay.
be more comfortable.
Ella, just identify yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Ella Belling, and I'm here representing the Citizens for Parks and Trails. And I'm going to provide some handouts. This is the park levy that we're proposing.
Thank you.
And I actually am going to read a statement from a piece of paper, so I can provide that to you as well if you'd like to read or listen to me instead. There's my notes for you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you for your time today and letting me talk before you on the agenda. As I said before, my name is Ella Belling. I'm here representing the Citizens for Parks and Trails. Rick Langenberger is also in the room representing this group. And I'm here to address the shortfall in funding for Parks and Trails due to the loss of the coal severance funds. This group was formed out of the Commission's public meeting, and we developed this park levy, also called a recreation levy sometimes, but that we hope to have approved by the Commission and put before the voters on the May ballot. The park levy will provide a financial mechanism to support our parks, trails, and recreation programs for county residents, and will allow us to continue to have valuable recreation facilities that provide locations for events and festivals for tourism dollars to come into Monongalia County. With the passage of the levy, these projects will be funded on a yearly basis for the next 5 years, starting in 2017. And I'm going to take some time to actually read what projects we're putting before you. $455,000 for the Morgantown Ice Arena additions, renovations, and upgrades. $250,000 for operation and expenses at Camp Muffley Park, Chestnut Ridge Park, and Mason-Dixon Historical Park. $150,000 for Camp Muffley Park swimming pool, pool house, and historical cabins. For Chestnut Ridge Park, dredging of Harris Lake and improvement of the ski slope. For for Mason-Dixon Historical Park upgrades to the playgrounds and hiking and mountain bike trails. $80,000 for the operation and maintenance of the Mon River and Deckers Creek Rail Trails. $40,000 for the Westover Park improvements to 4 baseball fields, including the bleachers and pavilions. $25,000 for Cheat Lake and/or the Laurel Point soccer fields and equipment. And those are the projects which cover across the county and cover a lot of diverse recreation that people enjoy in the county. We are asking for this levy of $1.16 per $100 for a Class II property. This means the cost of an appraised house of $200,000 assessed at $120,000 would cost an owner less than $15 a year. So I'm here to take questions on it and ask that the commission approve the park levy to go before the voters on the May ballot.
I did see that you had the largest table at the meeting that we had.
We did.
How was the decision arrived as to whom was included and whom was excluded from said levy?
Right, so this group, we've talked to the people who manage those parks and facilities, talked to them about their priorities and what they thought the funding costs would be, talked to the groups that seem to have the most focused priority for what we were asking, and then asked people to come to the next few meetings that we had to try to pull together the levy. So it was just a matter of kind of asking for priorities from the people that were managing the parks and recreation, and also trying to get a coverage of people across the county to weigh in on what they needed. Hope that helps answer.
Well, I was just curious as to,
Yeah,
if a
it
group-
didn't come out of that first meeting. I mean,
If a
it was
group
meeting
is-
several times to try
if
to
a
come up
group
with a
is
list.
excluded,
Yeah.
they obviously are not going to be as in support of this.
Right.
Did you exclude any groups?
No, not that I'm aware of. Those that we thought could be included, we did. But we did talk to, I think with, for instance, the Morgantown Ice Arena, we talked to Bow Park to make sure that that's what they wanted to see. I think they have a lot of things that could have been put on here, but we wanted them to make that decision, and their board made that decision.
So Monongalia County Fair was not excluded.
Well, this was for...
I don't see them included.
Yeah,
so
they're
I
not-
assume-
Well, I'll answer to that.
Sure.
I was part of that committee, and it was very clear that the committee wanted to change the focus of the levy to parks, trails, and recreational programs. Every one of these are specifically related to a parks, trail, or recreational program. There's no individual function or organization or specific role that was going to be put in, and we felt that that was the best way to deal with what they were requesting.
Well, this includes Mylan Park, does it not? As well.
Where?
No, it doesn't.
No, it does
No,
not.
as an exclusionary. It is a park, is it not?
But it's privately owned.
Well, that's,
It's privately owned. So because there was some question and concern of any funds going to Mylan Park, we tried to, in my discussions with them, tried to make it fair, and as Ms. Beelen said, made it all, you have a whole group of different entities that will be covered under this 6 major programs.
And I've been questioned about this a lot since the bus levy came through. Your 5-year total is $4,763,750. Yet your stated allotment is not that amount. And there's been some criticism about the bus one on the same basis. So we got two aspects here that needs to be addressed. Well, actually, more than two, but let me start with the two. Okay. One, I believe like 455,000 goes to Morgantown Ice Arena additions. That's Bow Park, right?
Yes.
Okay. But this levy would call it directly for that. That would only be 1 year.
No, that's $455,000 each year.
Those are for each year, and that doesn't go to Bow Park.
Each year?
Right.
It doesn't go to Bow Park? I thought Morgantown Ice Arena was owned by.
That is, but it doesn't go to Bow Park, it'll go to the county, because the county is the one who has the levies, and then they will
Wait,
provide the amount as is required by the law to these different entities.
Right. And it's in the levy, you have to give them the money.
Right.
My point is, they need that much, you're talking about $25 million?
$5 million.
$5 million, excuse me.
Yeah,
Nearly $5 million?
in 5 years.
Their roof, right now that facility is flooding, is my understanding. The
Yeah.
roof needs a replaced roof, they're talking about an expansion.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to build a new one?
Don't know. I can't answer that question.
It was to do expand, they wanted, the key that came out of the study, of that year-long study, was a second plot of ice. I don't know, sheet of ice, that's what it's called. Therefore, what they were considering doing is modifying, as, if I'm not correct, as they stated in the meeting, Rick, you were there too, that they were planning to fix up the room, the inside, and then build a second slab of ice that would be just for like ice skating events, and separate the sporting events from the ice skating events. And that would be around $2.5 million. Could go up if you built something new, $4.5 to $7 million. So they didn't want to redo a new one, and then they were going to use those funds to do that.
Well, if it's in the format, I have no choice. If it's in the format and properly processed, and an entity of authority, which you represent as part of,
Yeah.
you gotta,
Parks and Trails.
right. I have no choice to prove it, but I just have a hard time to imagine putting $5 million, put $5 million in a place that's that bad a shape.
It would be half that roughly.
It would be?
It would be roughly 2.5 million over the 5-year period.
Right.
So you
That's
just
where I got
multiply
the 25, yeah.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah, so it's half of, your
two-
point is well taken. That's a lot, 5 million would be, a
Yeah.
lot of people would raise their eyebrows at
Okay,
that.
yeah.
But, and I'm not an engineer, I'm not a construction engineer.
Right.
But I have used the facility over there. My son has gone through the hockey program. I played hockey over there. I skate over there often.
Mm-hmm.
The demand is incredible, and it far exceeds what Bow Park can provide.
Well, $2.5 million sounds a little bit better than $5
Okay,
million.
Much
good.
more reasonable. It would be right
Yes.
next to the existing facility. It'd be a fantastic money maker for Morgantown, I can tell you that.
Yeah, good point.
The secondary issue that has come up is that I know the library has contacted me. They're going to be submitting one also. There's a max levy rate that can be placed. So when they all wash out, we're going to have to see what that levy rate is, or they'll all crash and burn, number one. The second thing that I'm going to need to clarify is that we've been told that all these approvals had to be done by February 24th, that the clerk has told us that, to get on the ballot. Mm-hmm. I am told, however, that these levies are on a totally separate ballot and is not placed on a ballot with the others, that each one of these would be a separate ballot. And it'd be the same election, but it would not be included with the other ballot. It'd be like separate ballot. And on the machine, it would
Right.
come up, you'd vote, and then it would say, Levy votes. And then
Yes.
then a levy would come up, levy ballot. So, so the February 24th was based on the fact that she said she needed it to get the ballot done. According to the statute, the only requirements before the primary election, I think, is that it be published 3 times or 4 times?
4 times a week for 2 weeks.
For 2 times a week, 2 weeks, starting 15 days before the primary or something, or 30 days before, or something like that. So anyway, I'm not sure about the February 24th deadline, so we'll have to straighten that out. But the issue of, and I don't know how the courts would decide on this. I mean, if we put, let's say we put 4 levies on there, and those 4 levies, with the county levy, because you count them all. Count the school board levy, the municipal levy, the county level, and the special levies. If they exceed the tax limit top, would the court say none of them count, throw them all out? So we're better and safer if we deal with that on the front end. So my point being this: the the Mountain Line levy was passed with the motion that changes and revisions would be made to it to make it in compliance. Our county administrator has been in touch with the auditor, and they're having that wording and stuff rewritten.
Yes.
And everything. So, if it's the wish of this commission to approve a recreation levy, this one also needs to be approved with the understanding that it would have to be reworked.
Yeah.
Because it pretty much follows the other, so it
Right.
would have to be reworked. The ballot language is not included in here, and that needs to be included. But that's being rewritten by the auditor too, so. And also with the understanding that at the end of the day, we're gonna have to add them up, and some of these amounts will have to be adjusted, I would say, because, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but until we add them up, I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Yes, sir?
Commissioner Hall, you mentioned a maximum
Yeah.
levy amount.
Right.
What is that amount and who sets it? How is it?
It's set by the legislature sometime back in the 1980s, I believe, and it hasn't been adjusted since then.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, a lot of the counties are maxed out. We are nowhere near maxed, so we got a lot of leeway. We're like Ed, we used to be the lowest.
52nd
We're the 52nd.
out of 55 counties.
Lowest.
Well, it's
I don't
not-
think it's an issue. I just want to make sure that we're aware of it and we pay attention to it.
To answer your question, I specifically spoke to Oral Ash, and he stated that we are so low that compared to like Cabell County that is maxed out and has 14 different levies, we are definitely under right now the limit, and he did not foresee that as a problem.
Yeah, I don't foresee the problem. Everyone needs to be aware of it.
I think that's a legitimate concern to have, but I did want you to know, did speak with Oral Ash, and with the questions of the cost of the levy and so on, and his one concern actually was a unique situation with it's an actual box because of how it was written, and now we've gone to electronic ballots. That was his concern about how it's written, but he did not see any problem with it, the transit meeting or any other ones, but it just has to fit in the electronic version, and
Right,
that's what he
right.
was concerned about as you were bringing up.
Yeah, well, basically you're saying the same
Yes.
thing in a different
It's a
direction,
wording,
but-
yeah,
There is a sample
yeah.
for entities to use on their website, and he suggested that the transit rework there along with the example.
Yeah, well, my point was that we made that motion with the understanding that it
Yes.
would be amended to comply with any requirements.
But we did ask him that, and he did suggest for us to re-vote on that, because
On
it
the
is going to
24th.
be a completely different format from what it is. It was going from 6 pages down to 2.5.
So is he agreeing with the 24th?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, he's agreeing with the 24th, okay.
Yes.
Well, then my readings doesn't matter.
the guidelines set by the Secretary of State's office give 70 days.
Yes.
70 days, and actually that's
March 1st.
March the 1st, I believe, if memory serves me right, but we were going by the 24th in case there were any issues.
I see. Yeah, because there's 29 days in February.
And you are right. The irony was when we finally got the information about the levy, the word that the court, oral ash used was, it's approximate. So it's not even technically 70 days. It just, the wording under the levy rule says approximately, but they
Give the
recommend.
clerk enough time
Yes.
to have, be able to do their preparations, so.
So.
Yeah, well, the levy ballot is supposed to be a totally separate ballot, so I don't see how. But if the state agencies are interpreting it that way, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna, I'm in no position to argue with them. If they said it that way, they said it that way. That isn't the way the statute reads, but.
I know. I know, but, so, is it privy to make a motion at this time?
Yeah, what's the wish?
I move that we put this on the ballot pursuant to the same rules and regulations that we followed with the transit levy, to modify it if there's a grammatical or
Format.
format.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. Thanks.
Thank you for your work and
Okay.
appreciate it.
Well, you're not done.
No.
Be in touch with her.
Should I contact the commission office in the next week, or what do we need to do?
No, yeah, you need to
Immediately,
be working
yeah.
on it right away.
She'll
because
send it down and we'll figure it out.
If the auditor and the Secretary of State saying March 1st, my interpretation is meaningless.
Okay.
You know,
I just,
And then
I need
so
a
you got-
copy,
I'll need-
I need a copy to send to them, so.
Oh, and we can send you the electronic version so that you can see. I have your email, so.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ellen.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, did you need her address and also Rick's? Okay. Just I want to make for the record. Okay.
Okay, do we have any correspondence?
Yes. We have requisition number 19 for the Monongalia County Justice Center payments. It should be one of the last payments, if not the last, $400,000 to Macero Corporation.
Move for approval and President to sign.
Second.
A motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. Any further correspondence?
No, I do not have any further correspondence.
Unfinished business, any unfinished business?
I do not have any.
No unfinished business. Okay, any new business? Discussion of requisitioning process for transfer of excise tax funds for special fund maintained by the state treasurer for the University Town Center Economic Development District. I'm sure is what it says on the other side. No, Economic Opportunity Development District to the bond trustee for the county commissioner's outstanding special district excise tax revenue funds.
You can tell that was written by an attorney, so.
Touche.
Pleased to announce that we now have increment in our excise tax fund at the treasurer's office, $293,455.21, that is ready to be transferred to United Bank for the repayment of the bonds for the University Town Center project. Tom Amon, our bond attorney from Steptoe & Johnson, has prepared some forms You all have had time to review those forms. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. We got our forms.
Yes, and now we're ready to make the transfer. That we're requesting that those funds settle by the first of the month so that they will have time to process, but then they'll also be transferred over, so hopefully.
As of March 1st.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to that effect? Do we need a motion for that effect?
You don't necessarily, I was just for your information.
Oh, okay.
There you
I
go.
don't know what I did with your paper.
That's
I
all
think
right.
it's a blue
We got
pen's already
plenty.
lost.
We have plenty.
Okay. Okay, so that will be effective March 1st.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Set public hearing for a text amendment to the West Run Planning District ordinance. Want to explain that a little bit?
Received some information from the Director of the Planning Commission, Richard Wood. I guess the Planning Commission met last Wednesday and voted to send this to public hearing. I assume you have all that information in your packet?
Ed, do you want to add anything on that since you're on the Planning Commission?
It basically states that you would, it reads now, a maximum of 8 structures containing no more than 40 dwelling units per acre with maximum of 80 bedrooms per acre. It is going to be proposed to maximum of 8 structures with a maximum of 80 bedrooms per acre. There was a request and it was considered and was a unanimous decision to pass this to commission to reword this portion. I believe there was a development that wants to go on for senior housing that this would enable them to go ahead and have the density that they wanted. It still didn't really affect anybody. There was one letter that was read in opposition, really one email. But
Yeah. So we're just
so
setting
we
a
have
public
to set a
hearing.
public hearing.
Yes, what's the hearing date?
We have to do it within 45 days of the day of passage by the Planning Commission, so
When did they pass it, last Wednesday?
last
Yes.
Wednesday.
Okay,
So I would suggest March the 16th.
sounds good to me.
Move to set a public hearing for this on March 16th,
At
Second.
10:15.
10:15.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Very good. Okay. Any further new business?
Yes, I have 2 items. The first is a request for qualifications, professional engineering services. As you are aware, we did receive funds from the West Virginia Waste Coal Producing Counties grant for the renovations to the Monongalia County Courthouse Square. I have prepared an RFQ that's ready to be published if you all desire to go ahead and start with that process. Now that we're on the backside of winter, hopefully we'll be able to get started on that pretty soon. So we need to get engineering services prepared and get them started so that way we can come up with a solid design and see where we are from there.
That's in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, especially, with the freezing and thawing recently, so. You all have that in your packet. Have you had a chance to
Yes.
look at it?
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion, oh, Lord. My life isn't working today. A motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And just for clarification, because I want to get it in, so especially for the media, this was money that came from a grant, is that not correct? So the money can only be used for this purpose. So I want it very clear, it's not any taxpayer dollars or any taxpayer that we've collected. It's just the grant from, what was it called again, the coal,
Waste
Waste coal producing
Waste Coal
counties.
Producing Counties grant. So I want it very clear on that. If we don't use it, we lose it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
it's much money earmarked for that project. And
Yes.
That's it. Use it for that, or you don't get it at all.
Thank you.
And it's a safety issue.
Yes.
out
Should
there.
also be noted that a portion of this, was it 10%, goes to the Lofton Dam?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I forgot, thank you.
That's right.
And actually, Barry Palais did contact me this past week, and he's ready to get started on the new dates for
Right.
this next season, so.
Yeah, I talked to him for a long time yesterday.
I have one more item, if you all are ready.
Yes, go ahead.
I had Colleen quickly put together the numbers on all the requests for funding that we have received so far. We have received a total of $2,621,775.45 in total requests for outside.
That's up by how
Non-county.
much? It's up by,
Well, I don't know that.
you know,
Is it about 400,000?
I was very appreciative of the organizations that sat back and realized the situation with the coal severance, and they really tightened up their budgets. You could see by their requests, they were very dedicated to the taxpayer of this county. I wasn't equally appreciative of some people that thought this was a good time to gouge everybody and jump their budgets way up. It just wasn't right. You can see that by looking at the request, and that's a shame, because we could get through this if everyone will stand tight and watch their budgets. We can get through this, and all the organizations can get through this, but people have got to be dedicated to looking out for what's best for all the citizens of the county and not just their own little piece.
We did have two organizations that chose not to submit that have been
Yes.
people that we have funded a long time. But I asked them to do at least something in writing, so that way that you all know that they are
Yeah.
choosing not to.
They looked at their finances, they could realize they could get through a year without that.
was very nice.
And that's truly dedicated Monongalia County, and we need to keep them and recognize those people. Hopefully other people will wise up.
Can I just add, you said 2.6 million, you're asked, well, we've been getting 180,000 a quarter. And we've received so far this year $540,000 in coal severance. So just to show what this means, if we don't get anything else in coal severance, we're short, or I don't want to say short, there's a request for 2.1 million, so it's actually $200,000 more to your answer.
Right.
Requests than we had last year. So this is going to be a very difficult year. And also, I think the people need to understand if they pass the levy. I was wrong, and I think Eldon, in fact, you brought it to my attention that the levy can't be collected for 14 months. So it wouldn't even start for an entire year. And that was, I thought we could start it immediately. But that was just one more thing. People are going to see what the difference is in this 1 year if the levy doesn't pass.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything further?
No, sir.
Reports from elected officials. We have any elected officials here? Okay, reports from county commissioners. Ed?
Last night, the Volunteer Fire Department organization did meet. They did vote to present a levy for public consideration. It will be forthcoming. They also approved Mr. Renner to the 911 MECA board again for reappointment. Okay, so he'll come in. Last Thursday, I did meet with Judge Claudius. This is pursuant to, and Magistrate Mullins, to going over the regional jail bills to give the public an idea. $1,498,062 was spent in 2012 to $1,697,193 in 2015. Currently, with 5 months remaining, it sits at $1,030,041. So projecting it up, you're going to see again an incremental increase, going up to at least 800 from the 30, I would say. I'm just guessing. didn't do the full math on that. So we're hoping to find out what we can possibly do to put any reduction on this, because everybody that goes to jail is on a $48 a day per diem tab from this county until it's either cleared up or they're sentenced or they're, so we did find, I believe, 2 that weren't in our county. So there should be, there should be some reduction of the cost, and I'll be meeting with them on a regular basis so that we can keep an eye on the regional jail bill.
Very
That's
good.
all I
We
have.
appreciate that. Tom?
Yeah, I went to a meeting yesterday with numerous members of the CVB to discuss how we wanted to do the premiere on June 18th of the documentary, and we were fortunate to find out the night before in LA, the documentary received another international award and was voted the best international short documentary at the film festival in Los Angeles. So that was nice. We were looking at a really neat idea to have a premiere red carpet with an invitational wine and cheese, and have events during the day. And basically the whole concept is going to be thanking the veterans, all of the veterans, all day long. And we're looking, I'm just really excited. We've already received confirmation that the Netherlands ambassador to the United States is asked to come to it. So this is getting to be a lot larger than we realized. And we're very excited that we're going to be able to show off the Met Theater, show off Morgantown, Mon County, and the information that's getting to the Netherlands. You know, they're going to show premiere first, and then it will first be premiered here. But we're getting a lot of discussions about it, and we'll keep you informed. But the meeting went well, and I just want to say that now we talked with representatives of Welcome Home. They want to be a part of it too. So this is really turning into a very positive function, and we'll keep you informed.
Good.
And that's it.
Very good. I've been preoccupied since Friday. My wife had a new knee put in. Spending time with her, but I've been on the phone almost constantly with one issue or another. The legislature's moving some of our bills, especially the collection bill and the 30-day, which is a significant bill. To do away with the 30-day exemption to the hotel motel tax. That was really an unfair tax, or unfair refund actually, because basically anyone that stayed in a hotel or motel for 30 days or more, not only did they no longer have to pay hotel motel tax, but you had to refund the 30 days that they spent there. And especially a lot of counties, like Wetzel County was one, you couldn't get a hotel room in it. Doddridge County, you couldn't get a hotel room in it, for simple reasons that all the oil and gas people rented the rooms for a continuous basis to avoid the hotel motel tax. And even though different people would come in and go out, come in and go out, come in and go out, they were exempt from the hotel motel tax because of this law. We had to make a number of calls because there was a couple casinos that were trying to tack onto our bill to exempt comp rooms for casinos in our bill, and last year they did that and they killed our bill. So I think we got by that. So that's a good plus. My wife's doing much better. Her best friend's coming from Michigan, so I will be able to attend the National Association Counties Legislative Conference in D.C. Got a lot of lobbying in D.C. to try to bring more money back to West Virginia and back to Monongalia County. But in addition to that, I've been asked to appear on a panel to talk about West Virginia and economic development and how it relates to the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which is the new Unemployment Act. So I was honored to be asked to be on that panel to discuss what we do here in Monongalia County and in West Virginia. So I will be there. It goes to Wednesday of next week, or I'll be back Wednesday afternoon next week. So it's going to be up to you two to.
Congratulations.
Yes. I think that's a great honor
great
for not
honor,
only
yes.
you, but for our county too.
Yes.
I
Thank
think
you.
that's a great, to be going to this from Morgantown. And I think that just only enhances our reputation, and when we try and bring in business, it's just one more thing that we can use.
Thank you. So that's all I have. Do we have anything else? Do you have a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
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 We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.